Hello, I'm excited because this is my first time making a video since I've been back in Birmingham, which I have not done in a very long time. So I'm excited and a little bit anxious. I don't know why, y'all. Like I said, when I make a video now, when I pray out loud, when I do anything out loud for the Lord, it's like I get nervous or anxious, and it's making me really agitated, but I'm okay. God is good and I'm good. So anyway, I wanted to start off with Judges 13 through 16. Okay, in this story I'm going to be talking about Samson and Delilah. First, I'm going to give y'all the origin of Samson, who his parents were, etc. And then I'm going to tell how lust was his downfall and how it cost him not only his strength, his God-given strength, but it cost him his life too. Okay, so first off, there was a man of Zorah of the family of the Danites whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. That's Judges 13 verse 2. So yeah, y'all, Samson's mom was barren. She couldn't have children. That's what that means. And the Lord picked her to be Samson's mother. He sent the angel of the Lord to her to tell her that she would give birth to a son, and he would be strong, and his name would be Samson. So she had Samson. Samson ended up growing up, y'all, and being strong, and the Lord blessed Samson because he loved Samson. And as you know, his hair was the source of his strength. He had locks in his hair, and those locks were the reason why he was as strong as he was. That God purposely put his strength in. Yeah, his strength was put inside of his hair, y'all, because God wanted his strength to not be in his appearance, if that makes sense. Like, Samson's strength was not obvious. He probably looked like any other ordinary man. I know when we think of Samson, we think of him as being this big, strong, statuesque stallion type of a man, but he probably didn't even really look like that. His strength was in his hair, and God made it like that for a reason. So Samson goes and he gets married to a Philistinian woman, I believe, and his parents are very disappointed in him. They did not want him to go pick a heathen woman to marry, but that's who Samson married. So as you can see, lust is already not choosing, but it's already leading and guiding Samson into the wrong direction, even with the wife that he picked, okay? Which was not Delilah, but it was another woman, okay? I just want to say this real quick about lust. Lust can make you feel like you're in love. It can make you feel like you've met the one. It can make you feel like God even agrees with what you feel, which is completely false. And this is what happened to Samson even before he even met Delilah. You get what I'm saying? So Samson goes on to kill and slay so many Philistines. God raised Samson up to freed the Israelites from the Philistines. That's why Samson was special, because he was born to kill Philistines. He was born to be a part of the Lord's army. And that's why he had the strength that he had. And that's why the Lord gave Samson the position of authority that he had. And he was an enemy to the Philistines. All Philistines hated Samson because they knew that he was a great killer and a great, what's the word I can use? A great soldier, for better words, against them. He was their enemy. So this is Judges 16. It says, "Then went Samson to Gaza and saw there a harlot, and he went into her. And it was told the Guzites, I believe that is, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning when it is day, we shall kill him." So as you can see, y'all, this is Judges 16 now. the Philistines hate him so much that they're trying to kill him. They're trying to stop him from what he's been doing all this time. Like I said, they hate Samson because Samson is such an excellent marksman, if that's the word I can use. I hope that means a man that is like an excellent killer. I'm not sure. I just used that word because it's the first thing that popped in my head. But that's why they hate Samson, okay? So it comes to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. So right here in Judges 16 verse 4, this is where he meets Delilah. And once again, as you can see, lust is guiding his decisions. He had a problem with women, just like Solomon. I'm not sure if it's to the extent, if it's as terrible to the extent as Solomon's problem was, but I know that Samson also struggled with lust and with women, particularly Philistine women or heathen women outside of his family's lineage, okay? These women were not Israelites, they were heathens, and this is who he chose to sleep with a lot of the time. So he loved Delilah, and the lords of the Philistines came unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, and we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. So the Philistines told Delilah, they said, entice him, seduce him, get him to admit and to reveal to us where his strength lies. That was her mission. Delilah not only was a whore, but I think she was a prostitute, which is even worse than a whore. She was used to sexually manipulate this man. And even though I'm not blaming Delilah for being a whore, because a whore is going to be a whore, that's her job. But I'm blaming Samson as well, y'all, because if he would have never had these issues with these women, if he would have picked more wisely, he would have never been in this situation. You get what I'm saying? So Delilah said to Samson, this is verse 6, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightiest be bound to afflict thee. So she's asking him, oh Samson, where does your strength lie? Why are you so strong, Samson? Who knows what she was saying to seduce him and to make him make the wrong decision and to reveal where his strength lies to his enemies. Who knows how she was saying this? They probably had just got done having sex, or about to have sex, or in the middle of that. Who knows what was going on right here in this story and how that actually went. I wish the Bible went into more detail, but I guess it's not any of our concern, and that's why God left it out. But so okay, she's asking him where his strength lies. And Samson said unto her, if thou bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as any other man. So Samson, at first, he lied to Delilah because she kept bothering him. She was so persistent. Like I said, it was her job to seduce. It was her job to manipulate him. It was her job to get him to reveal his secret. That was her job. It's like she was literally a spy in a sense. And Samson, one thing that I don't understand within the story is why in the world didn't he just like kick her out, like be gone, dismissed? Why didn't he dismiss her and get rid of her instead of being in her company? And it's all lust. It's lust. He was seduced so bad. And I keep saying seduced because he was seduced, but at the same time, that's his fault. He needs to take, I'm also making him take accountability as well within this story, because he should have never been there in the first place with her. So, and who knows, he had the same lustful spirit as she did, and that's what joined them together. I just don't understand why he didn't just kick her out. I don't, but he kept her company, and he lied to her. And when the Philistines tried to bind him with these green withs that he told Delilah that makes him strong, it did not work. He broke the binds, he broke the chains, and he was what's the word I can use? He was shown to be strong even in that. So Delilah figured out that he lied after he broke out of the bonds that they put him in. And she said, let me see what she said. She said, "Behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound." So even after that, she was like, all right, you're lying to me. You didn't tell the truth. Where's your strength, Samson? And at this point, like I said, I still don't understand why he did not kick her out of his spot. Why in the world did he continue to have this woman around him who's clearly trying to get him to reveal his strength for a negative reason? I feel like Samson did not use his brain at all within this story. He wasn't. He was thinking with something else. And that's what I'm saying. Lust destroys in so many ways. It's like I said a couple months ago when I made my first video on lust. Lust is the final boss of all sins. It is the final boss. You will feel as close to God as you possibly can. And then the spirit of lust will come up and bite you. That's how dangerous this sin and this spirit is. And and we can see this within this story. And he said unto her, verse 11, Judges 16, verse 11, "If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak, and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes, and bound him therewith, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And they were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber. And he brake them from off his arms like a thread." So this is the second time with him lying to this girl. And they tried to bind him up. She said, "The Philistines are coming after you, Samson." And he still broke free. And after all this, after seeing that she had negative intentions, he still did not kick her out. He still did not stop sleeping with her. Like, Delilah must have been fire. Like, she must have been that pressure. Because even after all of this, he still kept her around him, okay? So, after that, after the second time, he lied to her a third time too, y'all. I'm not even gonna read that part. He lied to her a third time, and she said, "Samson, you mocked me again." And then this is verse 17. It says, no, verse 16. It says, "And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death." So she nagged and persistently and consistently asked this man where his strength lied, to the point where his spirit was vexed. She asked him this so much that he got to the point where he stopped lying to her, and eventually he gave up his secret. And he said, this is verse 17, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, "There hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I will become weak, and be like any other man." And when Delilah saw that he told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, "Come up this once, for he hath shown me all his heart." Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. So she got paid, they got paid, everybody got paid to destroy Samson and everything that he had done, and everything that he stood for, and everything that he represented. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. So she cut off his locks, and his strength went away from him. That was the secret, and that's something that should have been kept sacred, because God gave it to him, and he revealed it to the wrong people. Now, maybe I was a little too hard on Samson and even Delilah when I was talking a couple minutes ago, y'all. This has happened to me before. Lust has got me into terrible situations where I have looked like Boo Boo the Fool, and this has happened to really most people on this earth. So I understand why Samson was put in the situation that he was. I understand why Delilah did what she did. It was her job. You know what I'm saying? And who knows how she ended up to be the way that she was. Who knows her story? But my point is, that Samson trusted the wrong person, and it ultimately cost him his strength and his life. The Philistines took out his eyes. They bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. So they binded him up, they tied him up where he couldn't move, they poked out his eyes, and they cut off his hair. And all the people were happy. They were saying, oh, our gods, our fake gods, they put our enemy into our hand. We have delivered Samson up. This is what the Philistines were saying. They believed that their gods had delivered Samson into their hand. And they still don't even realize that it's not their gods who did it. It was God Almighty who took Samson's strength away because of his bad mistake. Their gods had nothing to do with it. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Yeah, Samson, this is Judges 16 verse 28. When he saw that all the Philistines were in the house where he was bound up, he prayed and called out to the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me. This is verse 28. I pray thee, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand and of the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords, and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. So out of all the people that Samson killed in his life, all the Philistines that he killed way more in his death than in his entire life. When he pulled down the bounds that had him bounded up, y'all, if you're understanding what I'm saying, the house fell. And it fell on him and the Philistines. So Samson lost his life here, but the Lord honored his last request, and he gave him strength one last time to kill the Philistines. And Samson was saved because he remembered the Lord, and the Lord remembered him. Even after his mistake, even after losing his strength and his hair and losing his life, the Lord still honored Samson, and Samson's heart was still in the Lord, and that's why he was saved even unto death. So I hope that this encouraged somebody. I hope that it helped somebody. I hope that this will encourage you not to allow lust to run your life, no matter what it is, whether it's porn, masturbation, sex outside of marriage. It can be anything. It could be anything. As long as you do not allow lust to control your life, you will be all right, okay? You will be all right. I'm not saying that you won't sin. I'm not saying that you won't fall short of the glory of God, because we all do. But this is something, y'all, that you cannot allow to run your life, because you will end up like Samson. You will end up like Solomon. You will end up like, who else in the David and Bathsheba. You'll end up like them, even though they were saved also, and that's a whole nother story. I want to talk about David and Bathsheba one day. I will one day. But I hope that this helps somebody. I love y'all so much, okay? I love you so much. God bless.